Queen Camilla broke down in tears after reading a classified report exposing serious financial fraud tied to Archewell. With her past support for Meghan under scrutiny, the revelations sparked a crisis inside the palace, one that now threatens reputations at the highest level. Queen Camilla breaks down after shocking Archewell revelation. The breakdown came quietly, but its shockwaves were instant. Queen Camilla was left visibly shaken after reading a confidential report detailing financial misconduct linked to Archewell. The document, reviewed privately with King Charles at Clarence House, included references to Camilla's past support for Meghan's independent initiatives. "I never thought it would come to this," she reportedly whispered to a trusted aide, her voice breaking. Insiders say the Queen Consort wasn't fearful of blame, but devastated by the implication of poor judgment. Her long-standing encouragement of Meghan's modern approach to royal charity was now being quietly reinterpreted as a liability. "She felt cornered," one aide said, "not accused, but exposed." Following the revelation, Camilla withdrew from public view. Engagements were postponed. Staff handled communications. Behind the scenes, the atmosphere was tense and uncertain. What began as a financial audit had opened a deeper emotional wound, one that could not be ignored. And, as Camilla retreated, another royal stepped forward. William's warning ignites chaos. Archewell audit rocks the palace. The crisis escalated the moment Prince William issued a private directive that shifted the palace into emergency mode. Acting on quiet concerns, he ordered a discreet audit of Archewell's financial records, assigning the task to Jean-Christophe Gray, his private secretary and a respected former Treasury official. What Gray uncovered was more than troubling: over $674,000 in unexplained losses, irregular reporting, and blurred lines between charitable donations and commercial ventures. "This isn't sloppy," Gray reportedly said. "It's structural." The findings were quickly escalated to California's Department of Justice, which launched a forensic investigation, suggesting suspected fraud, not administrative error. Investigators zeroed in on payments connected to Netflix and Spotify, where charity and profit appeared dangerously intertwined. William made his position clear. "No one is protected," he told aides. "Not family, not titles." For the first time, Camilla, Meghan, and Harry were all subject to the same unflinching standard. Inside the palace, silence fell. Lines were drawn, and in that silence, William's authority took shape. The numbers that broke the crown's silence. The financial collapse was undeniable. In 2021, Archewell raised over $13 million. But by the end of 2022, that number had plunged to just $2 million, a drop no reputable charity experiences without serious internal failure. Auditors flagged skyrocketing admin costs, vague consultant fees, and near-zero clarity on where donor money actually went. Millions were funneled into luxury travel, elite PR firms, and staged appearances that mirrored royal tours, but lacked official approval. Celebrity philanthropy wearing a crown, one palace insider said, describing how the Sussexes blended charity with personal image. Investigators highlighted something more alarming: signs of lifestyle bleed, when charitable funds are used to support private life. This wasn't just about Archewell anymore. The monarchy's reputation was tied to it, especially as the foundation had positioned itself as a post-royal extension of purpose. Meghan and Harry's spending now cast a shadow over the palace's credibility. And inside those walls, one name kept appearing, not in accusation, but in connection: Camilla. The Queen Consort's quiet past support had helped it grow. Now it was part of the storm. Camilla's uncomfortable proximity to the Sussex brand. That name was Queen Camilla. Years earlier, in what many saw as an olive branch, she had supported Meghan's desire to carve out a modern royal identity beyond traditional duties. At the time, Camilla reportedly viewed Meghan's outsider perspective as an asset, something that could refresh the firm's outdated image. But now, that encouragement was under fire. Multiple insiders claim Camilla had privately praised the Sussexes' decision to monetize their roles after stepping back, believing it could modernize royal outreach. She never anticipated the model would extend into blurred financial territories or bring a charitable foundation under scrutiny. She saw it as branding, not a boundary, one aide said. Her previous involvement in shaping the royal family's public image had already drawn criticism during past media battles. This latest scandal reawakened old wounds, raising uncomfortable questions. Had Camilla, even unintentionally, given legitimacy to Meghan's approach? Had her trust been misplaced? Though she remains untouched legally, her emotional response paints a different picture. Those close to her say the collapse of Archewell wasn't just a reputational blow. It felt like a betrayal. A private project she had once cautiously supported had now imploded in full view of the world. And with it, part of her vision for a modernized monarchy crumbled too. Meghan's empire on the brink, and Camilla watches it crumble.
As the Archewell fallout deepened, the damage began to spread, fast. Meghan's lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard, found itself under pressure almost overnight. What had been pitched as a sleek, high-end empire of modern living suddenly looked fragile. Multiple CEOs walked away from negotiations in the wake of the financial probe, citing the brand's now toxic association with the Archewell audit. Internally, leadership was said to be in chaos. Hollywood, once a fortress of support, had fallen silent. Oprah, Tyler Perry, the Clooneys, names that once rallied around Meghan were nowhere to be found. A-list allies stopped returning calls. Publicists went quiet. The collapse of Archewell hadn't just exposed financial failings, it detonated the credibility of everything built around it. For Camilla, watching from behind palace walls, the unraveling felt bitter. She had once championed Meghan's break from palace rigidity. She believed there was room for new energy, fresh voices. But the Sussex brand, once seen as bold and modern, was now viewed as reckless. She wanted Meghan to rise, not burn out, said one courtier. Instead, Camilla was left watching a legacy she helped quietly shape fall apart, piece by piece. William and Catherine rise as Camilla retreats. In the vacuum left by Archewell's implosion, a new image began to form, steady, disciplined, and quietly commanding. William and Catherine didn't rush forward. They didn't make grand statements, but their silence was powerful. While Camilla retreated from the spotlight, Catherine stepped forward, taking on engagements once associated with Camilla's patronage. The shift was subtle but undeniable. Public sentiment followed. Polls showed rising approval for William and Catherine as the monarchy's moral anchor. William's unflinching stance on the audit earned quiet respect, even from critics. Catherine's calm, uncontroversial presence felt like reassurance during chaos. In contrast, Camilla's image took a quiet blow, not from scandal, but from absence. Palace aides noted the shift. Camilla, they said, wasn't pushed aside. She stepped back. "She knows when to disappear," one official remarked. Her emotional state, already fragile, wasn't helped by the optics.
What had begun as a moment of support for Meghan had turned into a slow retreat from influence. And in her place, the next generation was rising, not with force, but with quiet authority. Behind closed doors, Charles confronts the fallout. Inside Buckingham Palace, the mood turned tense and inward. King Charles convened a series of private crisis meetings with senior advisors as the Archewell audit widened. Files were reviewed, legal language was sharpened. The central question was unavoidable: protect the institution or protect his wife. According to aides present, the decision weighed heavily on him. "This is the hardest call of his reign," one advisor said quietly. Camilla's emotional state complicated everything. Sources say Charles delayed public messaging after seeing her visibly shaken, hoping time would calm the situation. But pressure mounted from within the palace and beyond. The investigation was moving forward, and any attempt to stall it risked deeper damage. "We can't manage this away," Charles reportedly told his team. "It has to run its course." The moment reopened old scars. Courtiers say the strain echoed the darkest years of the Diana era, when personal loyalty and public duty collided. Ultimately, Charles made his choice. He allowed the audit and external investigation to proceed without interference. It was seen as an act of institutional loyalty, even if it came at a personal cost. Camilla's tears, aides said, were the price paid for protecting the crown's credibility. Was Camilla a silent enabler or another victim? As the scrutiny intensified, attention turned back to Camilla's past relationship with Meghan. Her early defense of Meghan against hostile press coverage was well documented. At the time, it was viewed as compassion. Now, some insiders questioned whether that trust led to missed warning signs. "She believed in her," one palace aide said. "That belief may have clouded her judgment." Legal analysts were quick to clarify one point: Camilla is not implicated in any wrongdoing. Still, proximity matters in public perception. Questions about influence and oversight lingered. During the early days of the audit, Prince William reportedly instructed his office to distance itself completely from Camilla's. An internal firewall meant to preserve credibility. The move was quiet but telling. For Camilla, the toll has been deeply personal. Friends say she feels betrayed, not just by outcomes, but by the realization that private encouragement may have enabled public failure. "She didn't cause this," one confidant said, "but she feels responsible for not stopping it." The narrative remains unsettled. To some, Camilla is a silent enabler who trusted too freely. To others, she is another figure caught in the blast radius of choices made by others. What is certain is this: the Queen Consort is learning, in real time, that titles offer no immunity when trust collapses. Archewell's collapse creates royal power vacuum. As Archewell spiraled into crisis, its influence inside the royal ecosystem vanished. Harry and Meghan, once considered key figures in the monarchy's evolution, now found themselves cut off, isolated by silence, scandal, and failing credibility. Their absence left a hole in the firm's modern identity, one that Camilla had helped quietly shape during early talks of transition and rebranding. But now, Camilla herself was silent. The Queen Consort, once a steady force behind the scenes, had retreated. Her voice, her presence, her influence, all dimmed. Royal aides noticed it first. Then came the reshuffling. Meetings were rescheduled, roles were reassigned, public duties shifted, and rising in the space she left behind were William and Catherine, not forced, not crowned, simply trusted. What began as a quiet adjustment became something larger. Insiders described it as a shift in command, not official, but felt in every corridor of the palace. Camilla's tears, once a private moment of heartbreak, were now seen as symbolic. The modern monarchy was moving forward, but it was doing so without her at the helm. The aftermath: redemption, resignation, or royal silence. With the damage done, all eyes turned to what would come next. Camilla's next move remains unclear. Some palace staff expect a quiet withdrawal, no public statement, no defense. Others wonder if a controlled appearance could soften the perception. But so far, nothing has been said. The Queen Consort has disappeared from the headlines, but not from the questions. In contrast, Prince William continues to stand firm. His refusal to shield any individual, regardless of status, has won him rare public praise. He is being called the future protector of the monarchy, not just in title, but in judgment. As for Meghan, legal pressure may be mounting. If direct links between charitable funds and personal gain are confirmed, formal consequences could follow. King Charles, caught between personal loyalty and public responsibility, now walks a narrow line. The institution must come first, but his wife is still reeling. Those closest to him say he's working quietly to hold both together, even as history pulls them apart. And Camilla? The tears may have dried, but the moment hasn't passed. It lingers in every room she once influenced. It echoes in every meeting she now avoids. Because in royal life, silence isn't peace. It's waiting. And within the palace walls, they know this isn't the end. It's only the beginning of what comes next. Camilla's silence speaks volumes. The Archewell scandal has shattered royal trust, and for the Queen Consort, the fallout has just begun.